Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this Wednesday's edition of the English newscast on Info Television. We kickstart with our headlines. Due to the rising tension between the president of the Fecafoot, Samuel Eto'o, and the Minister of Sports and Physical Education, Cameroonian football hangs in an uncertain situation as Fecafoot General Assembly remains suspended. And the International Federation of Journalists and the National Union of Cameroonian Journalists engaged the Minister of Labour and Social Security, Gregoire Owona, in a high-level talk in his cabinet this November 19. Those were our headlines. Details in a jiffy. Welcome back. We kickstart with sports as Cameroonian football hangs in uncertainty as the Fecafoot General Assembly remains suspended and rising tension between the Fecafoot President Samuel Eto'o and the Minister of Sports and Physical Education. Philippe Enchi throws more lights.
In an atmosphere of discontentment and the absence of concrete solutions to put an end to the poor football management and resurrect the performance of the individual lions at the international football stage, the General Assembly of the Cameroon Football Federation Fecafoot is still pending, with the ongoing feud between the President of the Federation Samuel Eto'o and the Minister of Sport and Physical Education Professor Narcisse Moelle Kombi, creating a breeding ground for peace, reconciliation and the promotion of football managerial practices is of great importance. Unsatisfied with the irregularities during the electoral process put in place by the Fecafoot Elective General Assembly, the Minister of Sport and Physical Education without hesitation suspended the meeting after rejecting a proposal from the Federation to appoint two representatives from the ministry to take part in the electoral process, while identifying the process to be fraudulent. If not handled with caution, conflict between the both authorities will jeopardize the country's participation in future tournaments and potentially creating instability within the federation. Although a situation promising to be under control, the Cameroon Football Federation, in a press release on November 18, 2025, after a consultation meeting with the World Football Governing Body FIFA, CAF, and the Fecafoot Electoral Commission, emissaries from the said organizations are expected to take part in proceedings of the Fecafoot Elective General Assembly scheduled to be held in Bankomo Center region on November 29, 2025. The good news is highly appreciated by the football community as fans of the sport across the country are expecting to see the Ministry of Sport and Physical Education and the Cameroon Football Federation set aside their ego and fabricate a conducive football atmosphere in Cameroon, beneficial to fans, football pundits, and the entire nation.
The Ministry of Scientific Research and Innovation, under the leadership of Dr. Madeleine Twente, hosted a significant reception this November 19, 2025 in Yaoundé. The event was in honor of the director of Castrel F, a prominent organization in the field of scientific research and innovation, as you tell us in this report, Agnes Ayuk.
The Minister of Scientific Research and Innovation, Dr. Madeleine Twente, this November 19, 2025, at the Ministry's conference room, received the Director of the African Regional Center for Space Science and Technology in French language, Castrel F, in an audience to discuss collaboration ties. The collaboration between the Moroccan government and Cameroon is aimed at:
we need to increase the number of our participants or our students, and we need to create like a focal center or point to all these digital informations and etc. Why not like increase the number of courses, especially now we have the online courses and short courses for all the participants.
The regional workshop on space and digital technologies for resilient agriculture in Africa, organized by the CNDT in collaboration with Crastel F, is a concrete demonstration of the instructions of the President of the Republic, which requires the promotion of emerging technologies, including artificial intelligence and all that includes space technology.
Crastel F, qui est un partenaire de choix pour le Minresi.
Crastel F, which is a choice for Minresi, has come to offer us a program, a first exclusive program in the cartography of cultures. It is in this context that a workshop has been taking place since yesterday, which will end on Friday. It should be noted here that Crastel F is a training space, a training platform well known in Africa, where Cameroonians benefit from the 52 high-level training courses in the satellite field, a master's program that runs for 2 years. And now, with the advent of artificial intelligence, it was in good terms to introduce artificial intelligence to promote the agriculture of the second generation. With the training offered by Crastel F, students will therefore have the opportunity to be trained and retained rather than moving out of the country. The reception gathered key stakeholders, including government officials, researchers, and representatives from various educational institutions.
The International Federation of Journalists and the National Union of Cameroonian Journalists engaged the Minister of Labour and Social Security, Grégoire Owona, in high-level talks in his cabinet this November 19, 2025. The meeting focused on strengthening protection and improving working conditions for media professionals. Jessica Ndiwuma attended this meeting and compiled the following reports.
Growing concerns over the rights and welfare of journalists has prompted renewed engagement from key actors in the media sector. The International Federation of Journalists, IFJ, in partnership with the National Union of Cameroonian Journalists, met with the Minister of Labour and Social Security, Grégoire Owona, on November 19, 2025 at his cabinet in Yaoundé. During the high-level audience, the delegation highlighted persistent challenges faced by media professionals, including precarious employment, irregular salaries, and the absence of standardized working conditions across the country. They stressed the urgent need for government intervention to reinforce professional standards and ensure journalists are adequately protected in the line of duty.
Now, from the new election of President Biya, I think a new era is starting, so he should take that into consideration and help this journalist profession in Cameroon to be stable. You can't have good information without stability. You can't have that. It's impossible, either for journalists or for anybody else. We need stability and security to have good information.
It is a reminder that despite earlier commitments, effective implementation remains a major hurdle.
est un syndicat en lutte.
The Cameroonian National Journalists Union is a fighting union. We took part in the signing of the collective agreement back in 2008, but its implementation has never been effective. We have consistently denounced this situation, and the minister heard our concerns. A technical committee was created involving the Cameroonian National Journalists Trade Union and the Ministry of Labour to help move things forward. Unfortunately, progress was blocked for years. But with the arrival in Cameroon for the very first time of the President of the International Federation of Journalists, we saw an opportunity to revive the process and push for genuine change.
Fédération internationale des journalistes du monde entier.
Minister Grégoire Owona welcomed the concerns, noting the ministry's commitment to examine labor practices within the media landscape and collaborating with sector stakeholders to strengthen regulations. He acknowledged that improving journalist welfare is essential to maintaining a credible and responsible press. The meeting marks another step in ongoing efforts to secure better recognition, dignified working conditions, and safer environments for journalists who inform the public.
Still in the same light, the International Federation of Journalists has taken a strong stand against impunity for Cameroonian journalists on November 18, 2025. Judicial authorities have been approached to tackle issues like murder and discrimination of press offenses. Jessica Ndiwum once more.
The president of the International Federation of Journalists, Dominique Pradali, has met with the minister delegate to the Minister of Justice as part of renewed effort to protect media professionals. This move comes amid growing concerns over press freedom in Cameroon, where journalists face threats, intimidation and violence. The International Federation Journalists (IFJ) aims to ensure justice for journalists and promote a safer environment for media professionals.
The objective is to make sure that all journalists around the world, especially in Cameroon now, will be protected, will be able to perform their duty in good conditions, and will be respected because they are here to inform us, and we need this information. If there is impunity when they are attacked, it's a cancer for democracy everywhere.
Cordial exchanges marked the meeting between the two figures, with Minister Delegate Jean-Didier Momo taking time to brief her on the Cameroonian context. The draft convention is now expected to undergo examination by experts from the Ministry of Justice and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Meanwhile, the National Union of Cameroonian Journalists, a member of the International Federation, is considering the creation of a National Ethics Council to help curb the abuses observed within the Cameroonian press.
Nous avons obtenu un projet.
We have secured a project supported by the European Union in partnership with the International Federation of Journalists and CFI Media under the initiative known as Cameroon Media Plus. One of the project's main components is the creation of the Cameroonian Journalists Deontology Council. The first plenary session held in March last year focused on presenting the project and showcasing existing journalistic ethics council models from around the world, particularly those of Belgium and Benin. This second plenary session, opened today, brings together unions, journalists associations, civil society actors, information directors, and editors-in-chief from several media houses. It also includes our colleagues from the Belgian and Benin's, and we are honored by the presence of the President of the International Federation of Journalists here in Cameroon. This second phase is essentially practical, led by Annan Betum, the legal representative of the Belgian Journalistic Ethics Council, and Orish Fetal, President of ODEM, the Beninese journalists. Over the next 3 days, participants will engage in hands-on work sessions. The project also includes a key component, the relaunch of the official press card for journalists in Cameroon, following an 8-year period during which the card issuing commission remained inactive.
On a constaté une hibernation de 8 ans de cette commission de délivrance de cartes de presse.
Over 3 days, the plenary session underway in Yaoundé will pave the way for the drafting of reports containing legal text designed to reframe and better regulate the work of journalists in Cameroon.
And a meeting was held between the Minister of Mines, Industry and Technological Development, Professor Fu Callistus Gentry, women and young people in the mining sector this November 19, 2025 in Yaoundé. The gathering aims to present job opportunities in the mining sector for Cameroonian women and young people. Mimi Tiobo throws more light.
38,000 jobs are to be filled in the mining sector for women and young people. This is what emerged from discussions between players in the mining sector and the Minister of Mines, Industry and Technological Development, Professor Fu Callistus Gentry. The meeting was held in Yaoundé this Wednesday, November 19, and symbolizes the start of the establishment of the head of state policy, placing women and young people at the center of his new 7-year term.
The President, in his new mandate, has given a priority to young men and women in the mining sector. I can tell you without any contradiction that in 2026 alone, we are looking at 10,000 direct jobs, which will go to the projects of Minimatap, Grand Zambi, the project of Sino Steel, but more so of new projects that we're introducing in Kut and Tem. But that globally, we have envisaged about 38,000 direct and indirect jobs for the young men of this country in 2026 alone.
A ceremony marked by the presence of foreign investors who signed a memorandum of understanding with the Ministry of Mines, Industry and Technological Development, with, in a short term, the creation of a training center for young people in the field of mining, geology and petrochemicals in the southern region. A win-win partnership.
I want to assure the young men of this country that all those who have been trained in mining schools and those ones we are going to open, like the one we have projected to open in the south region, are capable of absorbing all our trained young men. And besides, small and medium scale enterprises are going to have a lot to do. And not only that, our lawyers, our bankers, our insurers, they are all there to prepare for this new era in our mining industry that is taking stronghold in our nation.
An example of the project already realized is the Pipenti Grand Zambi iron mine led by G-Stone Company. As for the international investors, they are fully engaged on taking the mining sector to another level.
We have extended our support where for the mining sector, for the youth and the women and men of the youth to be able to get scholarship from our side, sponsored by Group Delta, to come to India as well from the top mining colleges to get some education and training so that you can capitalize on the mining sector over here. And in the future, once we start our project over here with NCOT and NTEM, we would have such training programs on a very regular basis where we send not only send people from Cameroon to get educated, but bring the top minds and top geologists, top people over here to train on ground as well.
The event ends with the official launch of the first mining club in Cameroon, including stakeholders from mining companies, ministers and general managers.
And the government of Cameroon, through the Ministry of Public Service and Administrative Reform, has received 2 certificates on the registration of an intellectual property and the Chantal Biya cycling event. These certificates were this November 18, 2025, issued to Minister Joseph Lay by the African Intellectual Property Organization. Agnes Ayo tells us more.
The African Intellectual Property Organization, OAP, aimed at facilitating the protection of intellectual property, this November 18, 2025, allocated 2 certificates to the government of Cameroon through the Ministry of Public Service and Administrative Reform. The first includes the Certificate of Registration of an Intellectual Property. We came to visit the Minister of Public Service and Administrative Reform to give him a document that he requested from OAP, namely the registration certificate of an intellectual property developed by the government. This is recognized by the institution dedicated to the OAP law, which is protected by a brand. This project protects against counterfeiting and misuse. According to the Director General of the African Intellectual Property Organization, the Minister of Public Service and Administrative Reform, Joseph Lay, as a great cyclist event organizer in the East region, equally requested OAP to protect the sporting event. The certificate we are giving to the Minister will allow this event to be known internationally and above all, to be used economically and to protect it against imitations that could affect its viability. The Minister of Public Service and Administrative Reform says the certificates will go a long way to protect the state's property.
When you get such a certificate concerning Eagle, concerning the logo and the name, it means that you protect it. International VTT Chantal Biya, it's also very, very good thing, because as you heard, it's now possible not only for that competition, its name and its logo to be protected, but we can also, with the Cameroon Cycling Federation, exploit.
The certificates being a great symbol is a plus as far as the cycling event is concerned. This competition has gone international since last year. The next edition will take place in August 2026 and it will be every year. Now that it is protected by OAP, I think it is a plus to ensure total organization of the competition, both nationally and internationally. Minister Joseph Lee extends great appreciation to the African Intellectual Property Organization, OAP, for granting to the government of Cameroon these important certificates.
And on to this, on the 10th edition of the Cameroon's AIDS Awareness Month, the African Synergy Against AIDS and Suffering donated sensitization materials to different groups and associations. This was in a ceremony chaired by the Executive Secretary of the African Synergy, Jean-Stéphane Biacha. Details in this report.
The fight against AIDS is a major global health priority, a human rights issue, and a challenge that has seen huge progress. It is in this light that the African Synergy Against AIDS and Suffering distributed sensitization materials to ministerial departments, health structures, and other associations. This was in a ceremony presided over by the Executive Secretary of the African Synergy Against AIDS and Suffering, Jean-Stéphane Biacha. The First Lady, Madame Chantal Biya, who is equally an AIDS ambassador, wants to reinforce the capacity of schools and associations, and this sensitization will continue on the 26th of November 2025. The population in general will be sensitized, and also youths in particular. Beneficiaries expressed gratitude towards the First Lady as the gifts will go a long way.
The prize that we have from the First Lady Cameroon, Madame Chantal Biya, is to share to different students and sensitize them against HIV/AIDS, because it's a pandemic in our country since many years.
Associations are ready to sensitize youths from their different areas while sharing the gifts.
I
am very happy because it is not the first day, and I say thank you to the First Lady of Cameroon for these materials destined for the youths of Ntwesu, which I am representing today. We will sensitize the youths and distribute the materials.
This prize we are going to share all of them. We are going to make the demonstration of how to use the preservative, men and women.
Young persons in particular and the public in general were, however, urged to keep safe and keep practicing measures to fight AIDS.
The CPDM has kicked off its campaign for the November 30th regional election in Fifanda. Party officials have been urged to rally renewed support to reclaim seats lost and strengthen political cohesion. Phillips Enchi reports.
The Cameroon's People Democratic Movement Party, CPDM, officially launches its campaign for the regional council elections slated for November 30th, 2025 on November 17th, 2025 at the Fifinda Council Hall in the Ocean Division South region, chaired by the mayor and president of the CPDM Ocean South section, Vedeline Nkwanku. The event brought together several local political actors, including mayors, heads of campaign commissions, party officials, and elites. In his keynote address, the section president recalled the resounding victory of the CPDM's national president Paul Biya in the just ended October 12 presidential election, and praised the exemplary cohesion demonstrated within the Lukunje subdivision. He stresses that the campaign will be conducted in line with the instruction of the president and supported by a rigorous national organization structure. The CPDM seeks to regain previously lost seats while promoting greater involvement of women and young people in local governance. All the councillors will be present during the election and will participate fully in the election. We are sure about that. We are convinced that at the end of the day, we will emerge winner with a 100% victory. We are calling on our various municipal councillors to mobilize their energy so as to provide an opportunity mandate. We have already sensitized a majority of our electors, who are the municipal councillors, to bring to our notice the various projects in which the regional councillors are destined to make sure it is realized. With the support of militants and local communities, the CPDM party is aiming for a decisive victory to position the Lukunje subdivision on a path towards development and stability.
And Togo is investing in its digital future with an 8 billion project to build a campus for the African Institute of Computer Sciences aimed at empowering the country's youth through technology. Claude Abanda, the resident representative of Tv Cameroun, was invited to Lomé in Togo for this occasion. Mimi Tiobo reports.
Togo intends to rely on digital technology to boost its development. To this end, the government is committed to providing facilities that ensure a decent learning environment for young people. This is the purpose of the project to construct a new building for the EIE representation in the country, an initiative that will cost 8 billion CFA francs. Invited to Lomé, Claude Abanda, resident representative of Tv Cameroun, along with his colleagues from other countries, visited the site where this futuristic architectural project will be built.
I would like to congratulate the resident representative of EIE Togo for that project. A great campus is very important for students of African Institute of Computer Science in Togo. And I would like to say that all the resident representatives of EIE Cameroun, EIE Niger, and the general manager of EIE in Libreville have come here in Lomé to congratulate that action.
Just like in Togo, numerous efforts are also being made by the Cameroonian government in this regard.
And that does it for tonight's edition of our news. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks very much for your keen attention and stay in the company of our programs. Have a good evening.